Hello and welcome to another edition of Know Your Schools on WISD TV. My name is Dale Caffey. My very special guest today is Dr. Scott McClanahan. He is our new Director of Advanced Academics at Waco ISD. We're so pleased to have you here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me today.
Let's talk a little bit about, before we talk about your plans for the Advanced Academic Department, let's talk about your educational background and how you ended up at Waco ISD. So let's go back to the earlier years, if you
Okay.
would.
I grew up in Chicago, right outside of the Chicago, in the suburbs. I went to college at North Central College and got my degree in communications and theatrical performance. And I really had a plan that I was going to teach high school speech. That's what I wanted to do. I went through college on a speech scholarship. And what I found out when I graduated that nobody really bothered to tell me was that you had to be dual certified in speech and English in order to teach that in Illinois. And so I hadn't taken enough hours in English, so I decided to go back to school and get my master's degree in English, which is what brought me to Texas because I went to St. Mary's University in San Antonio. And after I finished in San Antonio, I moved back to Illinois for a year and taught high school English and speech. And then I really realized how much I hated the Chicago winters. The day we went back to school from Christmas vacation, it was 70 degrees below zero with the wind chill. And I decided I didn't want another Chicago winter. So I went to Vanderbilt University the following year to do my doctoral work in language and literacy. And then went back to teaching after I came out of the doctoral program, and I was teaching in a little rural district right outside of Nashville until I got offered a job to enter the educational testing arena. And so from there I moved back to San Antonio and took a job working with Harcourt Educational Measurement, where I was doing state and national level assessments for English. And I did that for a few years before I was approached by San Antonio ISD to become the Director of Secondary English. And so I worked in the curriculum department there for 3 years and then moved to the regional level as the Regional Specialist in Secondary English, and then got offered another job for another publishing company out of Chicago that allowed me to stay in San Antonio but work from home. And eventually they put me on a contract with an AP and pre-AP teacher training company in Dallas. And I started commuting back and forth from San Antonio to Dallas and eventually relocated to Dallas. And I stayed with them for a year and a half and then really missed the classroom. So I went back to the classroom for 7 years and taught in Dallas okay. And taught AP English. And then one of my children had some health problems and I wanted a little bit more flexibility. So I decided to leave my teaching position and I opened a college consulting business and doing academic assistance, college testing preparation, college guidance in Dallas. And I've been doing that for the last year and a half until Robin McDurham, who is the executive director of secondary schools, she and I had gotten our doctorates together at Tarleton University because along in there while I was teaching, I went back and got a doctorate in educational leadership at Tarleton. And she called me and said, I know that this is your wheelhouse and I'd really like it if you would come and join me in Waco. And I'm not sure I would have done it for anybody other than Robin McDurham, but that's why I came down to Waco and I've loved every minute of it since.
You have had a wide variety of experiences, and good for Dr. McDurham that she found you and convinced you to come to Waco.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. Let's talk a little about the Advanced Academics Department because you're obviously involved with the gifted students from the time they are identified to the time that they leave us.
That is exactly correct. So our department, we work very closely with the elementary schools and those elementary teachers at really identifying the kids that have that those giftedness markers so that we can go in and get them tested and start providing them with services that are most appropriate for their giftedness. And those programs then articulate up into our Atlas program at Tennyson. And so I work very closely with Sandra Gibson, who is the dean at Atlas. And then those kids split between the high schools, either because they are interested in an academy at University High School, or they go on into the Atlas program at Waco High School. And so I work very closely with those teachers too, because the way that we service those students largely is through our pre-AP and AP programs and our dual credit programs. And so, you know, the different parts of our office kind of merge together in servicing that particular group of students. So I get to know those kids. A lot of them will see this and know exactly who I am because I've pulled them out of class and worked with them individually, or they've run into me at different events.
And most, if not all, of the students that you deal with and have the responsibility of educating have those plans to go to college. And your job is to get them there and also give them a head start, if you will, on obtaining that degree. So talk about specifically, let's talk about the dual credit offerings we have that continue to grow each year. And under your leadership, I think they're going to grow even more.
Yes. You know, one of the things that we're looking at in our long-range plan from the board is that we increase our number of students that are both college ready and that are achieving, you know, a 4-year degree. And one of the ways that we know that we can do that is to give students the best leg up in going into those. So AP, that is one of the programs that we've typically used to service students because they can take those AP tests at the end of AP classes and get college credit that way. But our students have seemed to respond much better to our dual credit offerings. We have about a 97% pass rate in those courses. So our students take classes that are articulated either through MCC or TSTC, and we offer them in both academic subjects and career and technology through our career and technology department. But we kind of have a scaffold of different things that we offer. Students can take just a random dual credit course that fits into their schedule that they like. And one of the things that we've been working on coming into this school year is making that accessibility a little bit more flexible for students. We don't want to put students in a position where they have to choose between a fine arts interest or a creativity interest that would serve their giftedness or their interest, their passion, and the time that they would have to meet for a dual credit class. So one of the things that we've done this year on both campuses is we've implemented a dual credit lab where students can actually take courses online through MCC with an actual certified teacher in the lab that will assure that they're getting the work done, that it's being turned in, that they're working toward completion of that course. Our next kind of level up on the scaffold is that MCC has a wonderful program called Plus One, where they will guarantee that if a student takes 18 hours of dual credit courses during their junior and senior years, that upon graduation, that student can achieve an associate's degree in 1 year from high school graduation, basically eliminating a year of college costs, which for our community is a really important thing. You know, I have 3 children in college right now myself, and I know the cost of college and how, you know, if I could have shaved a year off, that would have been phenomenal for me. And then one of our initiatives coming forward into next school year, the kind of last level of the scaffold, is that we'll be offering, we're applying for our certification to become an early college high school district, which we're pretty certain will get that. La Vega just got their certification this year, this coming school year, so that we can start offering a program for students where they will start taking dual credit courses as freshmen, and by the time they're seniors and graduating from high school, they will graduate with both a high school diploma and an associate's degree, thus shaving off 2 years of college expenses. And so we're really looking in my department at what's going to help Waco students be most successful and put them on that trajectory toward achieving a 4-year degree.
And it's so important because our partnership with McClanahan Community College will keep getting more and more important.
Exactly. And they are more than generous and more than supportive of Waco ISD. For a large majority of our students that take the dual credit courses through McClanahan, they actually cover their tuition and fees. So if a student qualifies for free or reduced lunch, then McClanahan will cover the cost of their dual credit courses. And so it's really a win-win for the students. They've got excellent faculty that are either on the high school campus or that are coming in from McClanahan to teach those college classes. And in addition to that, they've got a very supportive financial base from McClanahan allowing them to take them.
One of the things we really like to highlight is when we have students who are identified by Duke Tip and those that are identified for high scores on ACTs and SATs. And that's right in your department as well.
That is correct.
Trying to improve that. Talk about some plans you have, because I know you have something going on this summer to try to improve those ACT scores.
That's right. Right now, yesterday, we just started an ACT preparation course. And really looking at the kind of the national market for testing in terms of SAT and ACT. One of the things that I noticed when I came into the district is that we were very SAT focused and we were pushing our students into SAT. But if we look at the national trends, what's actually happening is that test has lost more and more of the market share to ACT because students find that it's a friendlier assessment because it's so closely connected to the curriculum that they're learning every day. So this year, what I did was I'm offering an ACT preparation course to help get those kids ready to take the ACT test in the fall. And then in the fall, on the day that we offer the PSAT for our 10th and 11th graders, 10th graders as a practice and 11th graders as the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, we will give the other 10th graders, 11th graders, and 12th graders the option to sit for a practice ACT test on that day. And so I'm really excited that I'm going to kind of refocus things to where I think kids can be more successful, especially as I've gone in and I've worked with these students and I've seen what their strengths are and where they struggle. I want to make sure that they're going to pick a test that is really going to highlight their strengths rather than exemplify their weaknesses. And that's really important to me.
Very good. Of course, you work with the advanced academic achiever, if you will, as well as the GTs, and those are the kids that tend to go to contests and competitions.
That is correct.
And so that falls under your department as well.
That is right.
Things like history fair and academic decathlon, things of that nature.
Mock trial,
yes.
Science fair, destination imagination, and I've got a really good staff right now in my department, and what we're really looking at is we're looking at other competitions that would put Waco ISD students in the spotlight, like History Fair has done, for instance, over the past few years, that would give our students the chance to really shine to the state, to the local community. And so we're looking for those different academic competitions that would really work toward and with their giftedness, give them a chance to have an outlet to use those abilities, and that would really give them the chance to make their mark and have something to put on a resume as they move forward to college.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, you keep producing the winners, the award winners, and we'll keep highlighting them on WISD TV.
I'm telling you, that is not me by far. We have really good coordinators in our schools that work with those kids, and it's the parents that are especially supportive in helping those kids to have what they need and be there to support them. And I have to say that I have been especially impressed since I've come to Waco at the amount of parent support that there is for students who are really committed to being academians. They show up to ceremonies, their smiles beaming, with pride for their students, and that's really meaningful for me as a director, and I know for their own children.
Very good. I'm going to give you a chance to talk directly to those parents right now, if you would. So if you can look at your camera and
Sure.
any message that you'd like to tell them.
One of the things moving into the new school year is we're going to be offering a number of parent sessions this year throughout the year that are really talking about how to keep your student ready for the rigor of advanced academics courses, how to get them into the track to be ready to apply for college, applying for financial aid, lessons that they need to think about as they move from post-secondary into the post-secondary classrooms, from secondary classrooms, and we will be offering those every month. There will be a schedule published on the district calendar as well as on the advanced academics calendar. We'll have those on Tuesday nights from 6 to 7, and we're going to alternate the campuses so that we'll have one at University High, one at Waco High, but really it's open to any parent and student in the district. Primarily, we're going to target sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And if you attend the WISD Family Fest this coming Saturday, or you did attend it, if this is aired after that Family Fest, we will have brochures there, or you can get one of those on the Advanced Academics website explaining what our focus will be, who, what time, where, so that you will have that information. But we would love it if you would take the time to come out and really get the information that we know is so vital to our students.
Very good. Dr. McClanahan, welcome to Waco ISD once again.
Thank you.
Going to take you back to your undergrad for just a moment here. You said theatrical performance?
I did.
And you never wanted to, did you ever do any stage plays?
I did through college, and I did a few after I graduated, but then I got married and started having children, and that just kind of got left behind. And so I worked with UIL for a while, and that gave me a chance to hone those skills again, but I haven't done that in a while. So.
Well, you'd be good at it. I know you have enough on your plate, but we do have a Waco Civic Theater that
Wonderful.
If you'd like to try out for a part there, I'm sure that they would love it.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining us. Again, this is Dr. Scott McClanahan. He is the new Director of Advanced Academics at the Waco Independent School District. My name is Dale Caffey. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Know Your Schools.